Hey everyone, welcome back to The Road to Superman. This is episode 81, and I've said many times before that there is a lot of pressure on Superman being successful, but I never thought it had this much pressure on it. It's just been reported that if Superman fails, then David Zaslav may sell the company. Not just DC Studios, but Warner Brothers Discovery. The entire thing sold because of the Superman movie not being a success. I know that sounds insane, so let's talk about this report. So Puck News states the following: James Gunn's Superman has almost incalculable importance to Warner Brothers Discovery, and there is reportedly genuine fear of the film studio going the way of 20th Century Fox, which was acquired by Disney in 2019. From one Warner Brothers veteran, an essential element of the stock price is believing that the IP of DC is meaningful. David Zaslav bet big that they can show the world that the DC IP can have real value. Superman is the first movie. That will set the tone. They have a tremendous amount riding on it. And I've said all along that this movie needs to be a success for the sake of the DCU and James Gunn's job. But a Warner Brothers veteran believes that if this new Superman movie fails, then Warner Brothers Discovery could be sold like how 20th Century Fox was to Disney. That's mental. Zaslav is putting everything on this Superman movie to show that DC has value for the brand, and it makes sense that if Superman can't be successful, then what does that mean for the rest of the DC characters? Especially when the guy in charge of DC is making this new Superman film. This Superman movie reflects what DC Studios will be because it's being written, directed, and produced by the man who will greenlight every future DC project and will plan out the entire DCU. So if Superman is great, then that increases the value of DC's IP, and Warner Brothers will be a stronger studio because of it. But if Superman is average or below, then the value of DC's IP will decrease and Warner Brothers will be even weaker than they are right now. As of December 2024, Warner Brothers' debt was at $36 billion, which is a 12.25% decrease from the year before, but still so much debt. If one of their most valuable IPs can't be profitable, then what hope do they have with their other franchises that are supposed to make them such a large and successful studio? I honestly can completely understand what this Warner Brothers veteran is talking about, and to hear that there is genuine fear within the studio of them potentially having to sell the company is concerning. That wouldn't be the case if there wasn't a large chance it could happen. For years we've had rumors of other studios being interested in buying Warner Brothers, but nothing really concrete has come out, until now. So I ask you this: do you think Superman can reach the levels it needs to save the DC brand and to ensure Warner Brothers doesn't need to sell the studio? Let me know in the comments below. With the recent news of additional photography or reshoots needing to happen since the test screenings a few weeks ago, it is clear that they are doing everything in their power to make this film as great as it can be. We don't know if that is a worrying sign or not, that they are making changes to the movie after responses from test screenings, but I'm glad they are being proactive. And I do understand now why Gunn said he is just miserable at the moment with making this film, because he must be under so much pressure, and whilst I admire the confidence to be in that role, I don't have too much sympathy. Ignoring the obvious of him choosing to reboot and replace popular actors and movies and only keeping his own movies and actors, he chose to be the writer and director of this Superman film, and he accepted the DC Studios gig. Those things come with lots of pressure, and he chose to do them. So I really hope the confidence he has in himself is valid and the movie is great, but I don't have too much sympathy with the way he's feeling right now. But I hope that pressure is worth it, because he could be creating a really exciting and refreshing DC universe that will thrive for years, so hopefully he gets it right. Now, we do have a slightly worrying report too, which could impact DC Studios a lot. David Zaslav is reportedly considering replacing Warner Brothers Pictures co-chiefs Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi, and Zaslav has been said to be leaning towards Peter Safran as a potential successor, and this is a little worrying for DC. Gunn only accepted the job as co-head when he was told it would be with his long-term business partner Peter Safran. Before that, he rejected it, so if Safran leaves, could Gunn potentially step down as co-head of DC as well? This really feels like a messy situation if true. It's not really a good sign if one of the co-heads gets moved to another part of the company only 3 years into the job, but I think this all depends on Superman personally. If Superman fails, I can see Safran moving over to being chief of Warner Brothers Pictures, and then Gunn would also leave if the film fails. But if it's a success, then I think it really depends on if Safran wants to leave and how confident Gunn is being on his own or having someone else to come in and help him out. But I really don't get Zaslav wanting to move Safran from DC Studios over to Warner Brothers Pictures after he just gave him the job at DC, and Gunn only being on board because Safran is there. Surely if you move Safran, then you lose Gunn, because it's not just about Gunn wanting to work with someone who can do the business side of things, it was about Gunn working with someone who he deeply trusted, and that's what persuaded him to be co-head. So if Safran leaves, then I can't see Gunn sticking around even if someone else comes in, because I don't know if Gunn trusts anyone in a producer position like he did with Safran. This feels like another one of those messy decisions Zaslav does that just slows the progression of the studio. I don't think Safran is a great producer, but when your other co-head only joins because he was there, it really puts the future of DC Studios at risk. Maybe Gunn will be settled and confident enough to run it on his own, or have someone else with him, but I just don't get attempting to change something so early on. So this is a really strange thought process by David Zaslav. But now back to this previous report, it sounds like the movie might have to be better than most of us thought, in terms of its financial and critical success. Before, I thought the movie needs to earn around $650 million minimum and mostly positive reviews to be classed as a success. But based on this report, I think the movie needs to be closer to $1 billion. The whole studio is relying on it, not just DC Studios, but Warner Brothers Discovery too. And with the competition the film faces in July with two major films releasing as well, reaching $1 billion will be a real uphill battle, and I don't think it will be able to do it. Not based on its own quality, but just its competition. People have more loyalty to the other brands, and DC is sandwiched in between them, which will limit its chances of hitting $1 billion even more. So hopefully the promotion can really persuade people to go and watch the film, and hopefully the film is great. But I am worried about the Superman movie now. It sounds like it needs to get close to $1 billion at the box office, and the pressure behind it and the potential movement of co-heads makes me concerned about what the future holds for this film and DC. I'm not taking any of this as a fact yet because we don't know how the movie will turn out, but hearing this now is surprising, worrying, and confusing, which really is the perfect way to describe the last 10 years of DC. And just as a reminder, we are reportedly getting a new trailer on April 1st at CinemaCon, so hopefully that trailer can blow our minds and really help the promotion for Superman, because it's gonna need it. And the latest piece of promotion is Gunn sharing this behind the scenes image of the engineer in the baseball stadium in Cleveland, which is obviously pretending to be in Metropolis. Now this scene is from when Superman and Mr. Terrific take on the engineer and the Man in Black, which hopefully will be a very epic battle. And we also have another new photo of James Gunn with Lois Lane and Mr. Terrific in the sand on a very hot day. Now I believe this takes place when Superman is captured and Lois gets Mr. Terrific to help find him. And speaking of Mr. Terrific, I know hardcore fans may really love this look as it is comic accurate, but that doesn't influence if I like something or not. I will wait and judge it in the cinema, but I do think the costume looks a bit cheap and tacky, but I'm not going to overreact. I'm just going to be patient and wait to see how it looks and works in the film. But let me know your thoughts on all of today's updates in the comments below. But that is all for today's episode of The Road to Superman. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss an episode. I hope to see you here again soon, so until then, have a great day. Bye!